right now?
Well, listen, it was a great discussion. The type of discussion I think Canadians would be proud to see because when you have a caucus, you need to hear all voices. But what really matters at the end is that we come out of that caucus meeting united, resolve in delivering for Canadians, and resolve in winning the next one. Well, look at us. You'll see them.
What happened?
Well, people, because it's like in a family. What happens in caucus is like a family. You need to listen to each other. You need to make sure you welcome the views of people. But at the end, it's like a dinner table. At the end of the dinner, we all need to come on and relentless focus on serving Canadians and winning the next election.
It's hard for me to tell. I don't channel 164 of my colleagues, but I do feel like there's a path forward, and that we should be focusing on what matters most to Canadians, which are not the internal affairs of the Liberal Party.
That was honest. It went well over time, and there's a lot to reflect upon. It just means that there was a lot that was brought forth from. We as members of Parliament, we represent our constituents. We speak with Canadians, and we brought the fruit of those reflections forward.
I mean, my message is. I think it's very important to the Prime Minister that he listens to the concerns and that there do have to be some changes as far as that goes in terms of listening to colleagues' frustrations. For example, last year the Conservatives spent $9 million on ads. We spent $300,000 on ads. Good luck to us as a party, good luck to the Prime Minister to have a competitive fight if it's so lopsided. So we need a more serious campaign plan. The Prime Minister needs to articulate what comes next. I've said all of this to him previously, as some of you may have seen, but it's important to I think, deliver that message when there are so many frustrations that colleagues are raising. He's got to reflect on what he's heard from colleagues, and I think he's got to find some way to earn the trust of the colleagues who are expressing this frustration, and people are coming at it from different reasons for expressing that frustration. The second thing is to my colleagues, as the Prime Minister works to deliver a response to what he heard today, I think it's really important that you got to stand down the palace intrigue, and we can't have the knives in. We got to face the knives out, and we got to fight the real fight against Pierre Poilievre. The nice thing is, an election is not a referendum on one person. It is a choice between leaders, between parties, and between visions for the country. And I think that is the choice that we have to present Canadians with. And it will be, look, whether or not Justin Trudeau goes, see what's happening in the United States right now. You have a slight bump for Kamala initially, and that bump has waned over time. And so I don't think one should assume it's all going to be so very rosy on the other side of it regardless, which is why I think the important thing is to say, how do we put our best foot forward? Trudeau's got an opportunity to actually put a campaign behind him and put his best foot forward, and if that's not working, then I think there's an opportunity to reconsider. But I don't think the palace intrigue of will they make a decision on this one Wednesday, I think it might make a good story, but it's not what's going to happen.
Pierre Poilievre has to be stopped. He's an existential threat to this country. There's not a Liberal who doesn't disagree with that. I think everybody who's speaking is speaking from that place. And I certainly feel an enormous amount of unity in the caucus. I think it's good that we have hard conversations. These are the conversations that people are having. People who care a lot about the fundamental values of this country stopping me and saying, you've got to find some way to stop him and what he would do to this country. So having conversations about how to best do that, I think is important. What I'm hearing is an ongoing conversation about how we work as a team. And I can tell you, I was in those caucuses in 04 and 06 and 08 and 11. And a lot of those times there was camps, like people supporting this leader, that leader. That isn't this at all. This is about what's the best way to stop somebody who we see as an existential threat to our institutions and values. What Mr. Poilievre would do to this country is the type of thing that keeps us all up at night. And I have a lot of pride in a caucus that's willing to have tough conversations. I think that's profoundly democratic.
Look, I've said right from day one that if the Prime Minister chooses to stay on, which he has said that he intends to, that I'll support him. Because at the end of the day, although there is fatigue on his leadership, I think that's clear. I've said that in an IMO. I think Pierre Poilievre would be a bad direction for the country. I have real concerns about where he would take us. And I think the more that we can focus as a caucus on that question, the better. And obviously I'm not going to disclose what was said in caucus. It's not proper for me to do so. We have to have those honest conversations.